Hi, welcome to Leap Taken. This is Mika. Here at Leap Taken, I talk about all things witchy, craft-related, law of attraction, manifesting, esoteric, and everything else in between. And today is going to be a fun subject. As you can see from the title, we're talking about in the bedroom and witchcraft. So, cozy up, watch this with an open mind, open heart. And, hopefully you'll learn something. Hopefully you'll affirm something you already know or experience. Or, you know what, you just walk away feeling a little bit more spicier today than usual and inspired. That's the point. That's why I do it. So witchcraft has a place in every aspect of your life. If you're a practitioner, that is. Well, honestly, even if you're not, if you don't use it, you don't use it. But as someone who is actively practicing a magical lifestyle, magical life, it's infused with my spirituality. It is who I am. Just because I'm in the bedroom doesn't mean the witchcraft stops. So I just sort of wanted to first talk about the ways witchcraft can be used in the bedroom. Now, looking down at my notes, and I'm filming from a bedroom in my house because I thought it was apropos. All right, so just getting right into it, okay? Manifesting any goal. So you've probably heard of sex magic. I did a video about sex magic. So sex magic is basically, if you're not sure, the simplest way to understand it, because I'm going to break down some other things in a moment, the simplest way to understand it is basically during the height or climax, you are intentionally directing that energy into whatever the goal, the intention is, that, the thing that you're manifesting. A prime example, if I wanted a house, my dream house, and I wanted to get my dream house, and I wanted a way to do that. I wanted to manifest it into my life. One of the things I could do, whether it was with a partner or solo or partners, I'll get to that, is I would be able to, I'm not just, yes, you're in the moment, you're present with the actual act of intimacy. However, and not even however, and along with that, you're very focused with your mind, meaning you're actively thinking about this dream house. Visualization is going to be important. You might want to have pictures around you so that you can look at it if you struggle with visualization. I understand some people do, I don't. So I'm going to speak from that point of view, but visualization is key. So you're going to want to see yourself, maybe you see yourself performing that very intimate act in your dream home. You're basically in and out. Your mind is present, but also in another state of visualization, and you need to be very present in both. And on top of being present in both, you're going to need to be very aligned and attentive in both aspects. So it sounds fun. It's like, ooh, I had sex and now it's magical. No, this is workings. So here's what you're going to do. Once you reach that point, you basically direct that energy. If you're already a practitioner, this is not difficult for you to understand the concept of directing energy. If you're not and you're a beginner, you can still use sex magic, but it will take practice, which is not the worst thing, but it'll take practice. Some people kind of just zone out at that point. You can't zone out. You're gonna want to release that energy, and as it's being released, you're visualizing that energy going into the ethers and making that manifestation true. It's now a reality. In brief, that's that. So when you're done, you would see the house. You would see, it would be like in full colors. You would see the outside, you would see the inside, all these flashes of images and things like that at your point of release. And then you kind of feel like you were in the house. You feel excited, you feel happy, you feel all the feelings you'll feel when you get the dream house. So that's in brief how you can think about sex magic as far as for manifesting goals and things like that. Another way is love spells, love rituals. Now, I'm going to speak more about rituals. So the act of the intimacy itself becomes the ritual. So it's not just geared toward the release. So all of it from beginning to end is the love ritual. So this is actually probably one of the more detailed, the ritual is going to probably be more detailed. You're going to want it to be. You're going to want all those little this and that, and the ambiance, all of that's going to matter. The bed linens, the scent, the aromatherapy, the type of oils you use, lubricants. Everything is going to be very specific and magically influenced, enchanted, spelled. So this is something that takes a lot of preparation, and it just depends on how far you're willing to go, how deep you want the experience to be, the ritual to be. Lighting, is a candlelight, what type color candles. I spoke about aromatherapy, already burning incense, pre-cleansing the room, all of that sort of stuff. The act itself, during the act of intimacy, you may be drawing in, certain sigils on the person, you might move your body in a way to music that is also ritualistic, and part of the ritual, the music, has a deeper meaning, and it's all driving to an overall intention, which is love. It could be a situation, again, these can be solo, or it could be with partner or partners. So if we're speaking solo, it could be, the love ritual could be to attract a partner. So everything you're doing, you're visualizing a partner doing to you. You definitely want desire to come to the surface and all of that sort of stuff. You want to bring that in. Now, listen, when I talk about attraction and bringing and wanting to attract a partner, it doesn't necessarily mean someone forever. There are people who are, some of us are just sexual beings. Well, we all are. But some of us just want a partner, someone who would satisfy you, sexually. So that might be the emphasis. You want to attract that. Maybe you're, coming across a lot of duds. So you want to bring that energy. Yes, magic is part of everything. You can attract someone like that to you using a love ritual, which is actually the act of sex. I'm not sure how YouTube is with these words and what this means, but anyway, the act itself is the ritual. So like I said, it could get really deep. You could get really deep into it. Again, visualization is going to be key with a lot of this stuff. If you struggle with that, have prepared imagery near you. If you have a TV, maybe you want to have a montage of certain imagery that kind of triggers you and keeps you there, keeps you focused. So that's an idea. Or your phone or your laptop, conveniently placed so that you're able to stay aligned with the overall purpose. If you're with a partner for the ritual, remember, you could already be with somebody, and you might want to just strengthen. Think, anniversaries and things like that. So this ritual, I'm referring to it, you could call it a sex ritual, but it's more deeper than that. If you want it to be, and what I'm describing right now, you might want a situation where you're doing a love ritual where you want to celebrate the anniversary, you want to deepen the connection. And sex is a very intimate act, so that's a way of deepening the connection. So again, the details will matter. Your partner hopefully is involved and understands what they're participating in. You can come to it dressed in certain colors, again, certain scents. You can kick it up a notch with certain oils, again, that are already enchanted, spelled with this purpose. Speaking of color magic, there's certain body paints and things like that. This can really turn into whatever else you want it to turn into besides the actual act, but everything has a magical focus and intention on it. So, it's great if the other person, because now they can infuse their energy. Now, again, when you're doing this type of ritual, it's not just about the release, although the release is sort of the ending of the ritual, or it's concluding the overall ritual. I would still suggest maybe saying some words afterwards, maybe in unison together, and then that officially ends it. When you're doing this type of thing, especially if you work with someone else, you might want to maybe consider being in a circle, a magical circle. So you want to set that up ahead of time. So at the end, you want to release that circle as well. if you have multiple partners, okay, no judgment here, you have multiple partners, again, that's an increase of energy. Going back to manifesting, using sex magic in the traditional sense, traditional sex magic, that sounds funny, but if you're using that with multiple partners, that's more energy. Again, it helps if everybody is aligned and is aware of what's going on. However, if that's not possible, that everyone knows that you're using this with a magical focus or intention, to each their own. If you don't want to speak on it, that's fine. However, you have to be careful about other people's energy. That's why you want them to know, because it aids in your overall work, and you don't want anything that's countering that energy. But assuming it's not, you can still go through with multiple partners. And again, the point would be to raise energy. I would see that experience more about raising energy. So yes, the release is going to be key when you're working with multiple partners. Yes, the act itself, you can add some, it's going to be a little bit more difficult, especially depending on how many partners we're talking about. So if we're talking about one additional person or several, additional people, it gets a little tricky. But if it's, it does, I'm trying to, I got a picture in my head and I'm like, how do I say this? So the point is, you want to focus on more of the release. It's easier to do if you're working with multiple partners. You don't have to figure out their energy. It's that release, because typically at the release point, sexual release, people are pretty much all focused on like that one thing. So that now we got everybody in unison. We just got to get everybody kind of at that point about the same time, and then direct the energy at that point. Again, if you're a practitioner, you understand about how to direct energy. If you want to do something for passion, things are humdrum in your life, you can use a passion ritual. So when I say that, a lot of us, especially people who practice magic, let's say you've been doing well. Your spells work, everything's working out for you. So you're not having, you're not in a magical 101 type situation anymore. You've already done the advanced work. You've kind of developed a flow. Believe it or not, some people can get bored with that. It gets boring. It gets boring, kind of things going, right? Which sounds crazy, right? However, it is possible. So what I would suggest is maybe you need to spice things up for yourself, magically speaking, or just life in general. Things is getting a little too vanilla, a little too boring. So you can, it's kind of like sex magic again, basic sex magic with the intention of bringing passion. But you could kick it up a notch. Again, if you're solo with this, maybe a new device might be necessary for this to get you there. Or if you are with a partner, again, with this, again, I strongly suggest you get them kind of on board with what your intention is. And again, all the little things, the details are going to sort of matter. But passion, so you're going to want to, this is a time maybe you want to magically role play. Maybe you want to come in full witchy regalia. Maybe you want to come with the cape on, you want to dress in, a little cosplay might be just what you need. Basically, you kind of want to take yourself out of yourself, but bring the witchiness, bring that part, the magical part, and role play, act things out. You might want to, that's when you might want to bring in maybe some additional aids, movies and things like that, to sort of put you a little bit more outside yourself, because remember, you're bored. So put just, get out of your head a bit and bring in a little bit more fantasy. And this is for the passion ritual I'm talking about. So you want to do that and focus on that. That can be really great. So it's not just about the release at this point. It's all of it. The lead up, the act itself, the role play, all of that, the outfit that you're dressed up in. All of that brings in a level of passion, and then you act accordingly. You're not yourself anymore, You're that witch, that other part of yourself. You're intentionally grabbing. It might seem a little funny if you're not used to that, like you're being fake, be fake. Fake it till you make it. This is one of those things. It's okay. Keep going into it, and take on a certain persona, a certain role in the act itself, and really dive into the passion. You know, do a little bit more than what you do. Kiss a little bit longer, and so forth, right? And then, of course, the releasing is going to matter. Again, all the time you're keeping the, in this case, instead of visualization, you kind of, you're all in that moment with passion, because you need to bring that out, you know? And the point of this passion ritual is, once it's all said and done, your visualization goes back to the act itself. It kind of works in reverse. So you're going to do this thing, and then going forward, that's the visualization. If you're comfortable, I would say even videotape yourself, you know, record yourself, or with someone else, because you're going to want to draw back on that energy. So this is one of those things you want to draw back on. Go back on and visualize the actual act. Visualize yourself. Maybe take pictures, you know, record yourself with video, like I said. That's going to be helpful. And again, you have to trust the person you're with. That's why you kind of got to tell people what's going on, because it's great if everyone's energy is aligned. Yeah. And a passion ritual with multiple partners is going to be a little bit interesting. It can work. You can definitely do that. It's sort of the same concept. The difference is you have to be careful if you're recording and, you know, yourself and other people. The more people, the more consent. So just be concerned about that, please. Consent. Assuming all these things are consensual, right? Okay. So passion ritual, that's another way. And then binding. So this is where it gets a little, even more deeper. Think consummating a marriage. We already do these sort of rituals. So when people get married, they, you know, it's a thing. Well, if it hasn't been consummated, it's technically not real or something like that. That could be grounds for annulment, meaning the marriage itself could be canceled. Like, that's how serious it is to consummate the marriage. So along those lines, with binding ritual, it's, you know, that's kind of like an example, but with binding rituals, it's a thing where you're binding yourself to this person. This is a very intentional thing. And yes, your partner or partners needs to be involved. They need to be on. Everyone has to give their consent for this. This is not something that you do lightly. This is not something you do to hold on to someone you think who wants to leave you or go away. There are consequences to doing that. As a practitioner of magic, as someone who practices witchcraft, what that basically can boil down to is I can manipulate energy, right? And energies. I can do that. I know how to do that. So I know how to do that, although I have to leave room for the universe itself to work, for my higher self to shine, for, you know, the part that knows best to also to send out energy and to work, for my spirit guides to work for me, my ancestors to work with me, protect me, and so forth, right? And any goddess or god that I'm working with, there's that as well. So there's a lot of other things, and if you believe in other types, I'm just going to say spirit, but some of us, that goes a little bit more, there's a little bit more nuance to that too. So the point is, all these other things are working in and around our lives. So you just want to be mindful of not doing something that's blocking other intentions, another pathway. You know, you could be kind of locking yourself into a situation that, you know, it had a shelf life. You weren't supposed to continue to stay in it. But now you've put yourself in this, because you have will, so you're controlling it. But you've put yourself into a situation where you're delaying yourself. You're still in a situation, and there's so many other things that you could be doing in other places and people and opportunities and experiences, but you've delayed yourself because you're holding on to someone who doesn't, you know, want to be held on to. So this is not something to take lightly. Be careful with that. Just, if anything, just from a point of selfishness, you could be delaying your life, delaying a lot more if something else is coming, or there's a time where you're not supposed to just be with anybody, or there's somebody else. The point is, you won't know that because you're really affecting someone else's will, and that typically doesn't work out. Okay, but back to it. So the binding thing, it's really, and also, the other thing I wanted to say about binding, a binding ritual during the act itself. Now, everyone's consented. It's very important that you stay aligned with the purpose, and the partner you're with is also aligned. This is one of those things. There's a lot of pre-work. Yes, you set the scene, the ambiance, all that sort of stuff. But you may have specific acts that you're doing um, as part of the binding ritual, so that it is, like I said, it's part of the ritual. So there might be a certain order of operations that you do, the actual intimate acts that you do in the bedroom. That's what I'm talking about. So there's a certain order that maybe has to happen. It's a this is one of those things that you're doing. Everything is intentional. So yes, you're in it, but at the same time you're very focused. You and the partners are very focused. So yes, it's intimacy and all that sort of stuff, but there's a reason for every move that you're doing, and that's on purpose. And everyone's aware of that. Also, when you get to the release, you most likely, again, very focused and aligned. So you're going to want to speak certain words. Maybe you already have a phrasing everyone says in unison at that point. It's just, there's a lot more, there's a deeper connection. It's probably not going to be one of those quick sessions. This is something that's going to be a little, not a little, but a lot more detailed. Maybe there's breaks in between to do other things. After certain acts, you might light a candle, or you may do something else, or the music that's playing, it might have to be another type of music plays for the next act or something like that. You hopefully get what I'm saying. There's a lot more details involved with the binding ritual. You're saying certain things maybe during the act itself as well. Okay, so these are just the ways, witchcraft in the bedroom, that I wanted to talk about. Now, the other thing I didn't mention, I talked about energy, right? Is you can take that direct energy into an object. So your crystals, or a crystal, a necklace, you can direct it into oils, something like that already in a bottle, direct it into it. You can direct it into basically anything, and the object itself, like I said, anything. That's energy coding, and we do that, a lot of us do that anyway, right? You raise energy, and then you visualize, and you put your hands on it. That energy is coursing through your body, mind's eye, down in this region here, and you picture that, and it's going into the object itself. So you can code energy into things. So you've raised all this energy and you're releasing it there. Again, this is something you're going to have to align and focus with, because you're going to need to remember to do this and really focus. So there's that. Okay, also, if you have certain tools that you're using, ritual tools, a wand perhaps, is a great way to raise energy using sex magic and direct it into the wand. Yeah, so think about that. So there's that. Okay, so I want to talk about the before part, before the act of intimacy. That's really kind of a big deal when we're talking witchcraft in the bedroom. So I mentioned before about enchanting the certain objects. However, you want to make sure when you go to cleanse yourself, the soaps that you're using are also enchanted. You're making sure that you're using closer to natural things. Listen, if you have some very expensive soaps, gel, and all that sort of stuff, body wash, and it smells like just sex and desire and passion to you, use it. If I read the back of the ingredients, it's a bunch of fragrances and chemicals, to each their own. Enchant that anyway. However, if it's possible, if you're willing to go the more natural route, you do that. Natural, your African black soap. Maybe you make your own soap yourself, with essential oils and things like that. If possible, go that route, or as natural as you can get. Try that, okay? The shower ritual, or even a bath, if you want to do some sort of a bath where you have herbs, specific herbs, again with the intention of passion, desire, sex, and so forth, intimacy. You want to make sure you take that type of ritual bath. So you do all this stuff ahead of time. I speak more about showers and things like that because the home that I have, my master bathroom is just a large stand-up shower, and our second bathroom has the bath, but I don't use that for the bath. And even when we did live in a house with a master bath, I rarely ever used it. It was a novelty in the beginning, and it was exciting to have it, but I didn't feel like doing it. I don't clean it. I'm one of those people, I'll clean the bathroom every week, but I clean the bathtub even still to get in, take the bath, I gotta clean it to get out. By the time I'm done, I'm exhausted from all the extra stuff I did just to have a relaxing bath. So I didn't feel like doing it. So my point is, I'm gonna go out more toward the shower stuff. So if I kind of linger on that, you know why. It's a personal thing for me. But anyway, aromatherapy. So this is before. So you want to set the tone for yourself. You want to put yourself in desirable and desiring mode. So, certain scents will trigger you to do so. What you ate, the meal itself that you had beforehand, obviously. Kitchen magic, hello. So you're going to want to make sure that you are in line with that. Everything, all those little details add up. It's energy, and don't take that lightly, because you're building like this web of just sexiness that's just sort of encasing around you. If you're in your home, if you went out to eat, that's cool too, but it's like an air about you and your mind, the mundane part of yourself. All of that will start to link up and sense, oh, it's sexy time, and you feed it more and you get more into it. Okay. Meditation can really be helpful. Meditation is not the same for everybody. I understand that. How you meditate is on you, but try to focus 5 to 10 minutes, a little bit longer if possible, on sort of emptying out the day's events, the kids, the work, the school. You want to kind of take yourself empty out a little bit, as much as possible, so that you can leave room for all this other energy, the sexual energy that you want to build up. And then make sure, of course, that you have sort of designed this ritual, or the partner or partners you're working with. You've designed it. Yes, you can wing it. You can do your best during the everything. The act itself. And you can go off script, and it's okay, especially when you work with other people. Sometimes they go off script and they do things differently because they just felt like they had to, because they're in their own moment as well. Make allowances for that, but design the ritual, write it down, use visuals, use imagery, your book of shadows, your grimoire, your magical journals, notebooks, and so forth. If you're doing something on a computer, that's even easier, because you can, copy paste imagery and things like that sort of will take you there. Because if this works for you, all the rituals and spells and magical things that I talked about, if this works for you, guess what? You're going to want to do this again. So record that stuff, write that stuff down, and afterwards, if you didn't quite, like I said, someone who went off script or you did, make those little notations, especially again if it works or if it didn't work. You want to notate this. You want to basically have this written down so you can do this again. The more effective it is, you're going to want to, have a record of that. Now, I didn't talk about it, Tantric, the Tantric itself. Okay, so that's, if you're not sure, you probably heard it. I know I did, but I never really knew exactly what it was. I just thought it was yoga poses and you're doing it with a partner. Really didn't quite understand. Kind of, sort of, but basically it's an ancient Indian practice. It kind of blends and weaves the physical and the spiritual. So basically, kind of low-key what I'm talking about, if I understand, with Tantric, it takes several steps more. A lot of people are familiar with Tantric because they understand that that release I was talking about, it can be prolonged because of that, the practices. So, I mean, if this is something that you think, like, if you want more of a focus like that, definitely look into that. There's a lot of people on YouTube who talk about it, who are willing to share on how to do it, what it's about, all sorts of stuff. So I would suggest really looking into that and following up. There are books you can read, there's classes you can take. We're in a virtual world a lot of times because of COVID, but I know for a fact there are people who are doing virtual classes as well, you know, to kind of take you lesson by lesson, step by step in that practice if you're interested. However, in the meantime, or if you're not going to follow up because everybody doesn't want to do it that way, the things that I talked about are perfectly fine rituals and approaches to take toward this. Now, after all that, how does witchcraft make you better in bed? Focus. Focus and intention. If you do nothing else but have the intention on having the best experience in your intimate act, then you'll be better. You'll be better. And your partner will, or partners will definitely pick up on that energy. So if you just want to focus on just being better, that is what you do. You focus on being better. That is the intention. And then you hit go from there. And hopefully all the other things that I mentioned are inspiring to you and are helpful to you to get you there. And remember, as with anything, witchcraft and all of the stuff I talked about, practice makes perfect. So, you know, practice. All right, so that's all I have. Please, if you have any questions, leave them in the comments. I would be happy to answer. This is not a subject that I'm shy about or anything. I think it's very natural. And again, if you're solo, it doesn't matter. You still, all the things I talked about, you can do self-love spells. So I talked about the love ritual. You can direct that to you, a deeper connection with yourself. So none of this is something, none of the things I talked about are only for people with a partner or partners. And notice I keep saying partners with a hard S. It's because, listen, the reality of it is there are people, not everybody wants monogamy, you know, and that doesn't mean that they're not serious about their witchcraft and their sexual life and their love and all and relationships. It doesn't mean that they don't want all those things. They just don't do it just with one person. And, you know, I think it can be beautiful as long as everybody's consensual and, you know, people are we're all aligned with the same energy. We want the same thing. It can be a beautiful thing. It's a problem if you were not in a monogamous relationship with someone who thinks you are, then that's when we run into a problem. And, well, you might want to fix that. You might want to do some other types of magic on yourself, some shadow work to understand a little bit more of why you're doing that. Why are you holding on to this person when you want to explore other things? And that's all I got. So thanks again for watching. Please like, subscribe, share. I am Mika, this is Leap Taken, and thank you again so much for watching. And if you've already subscribed, I appreciate it. Alrighty, bye-bye.